The 2003 NBA draft class is considered as one of the best ever draft classes in NBA history. And what makes this class unique among all others is the fact that Lebron James was among the draftees that year. The Cleveland Cavaliers pounced on him with the first overall pick. After his first season in the league became a roaring success, LeBron James achieved massive stardom and became one of the most respected athletes in the world. So as famous as he is now, LeBron James also started way back as another child watching him and aspiring to play professional basketball. One of those kids who aspire to play basketball like LeBron James is his own son, Bryce James. Bryce has said on several occasions that he wants to play professionally one day, as his father does right now. Based on his recent performances, Bryce James might be the next big thing in the NBA. At only 15 years of age, that boy has shown massive potential. Standing at a height of 6'6", Bryce is now reportedly taller than his elder brother, Bronny James. So in a moment, we're diving deep into the story. But before we do that, kindly be sure to subscribe to our channel and don't forget to hit that notification button so that you will be able to get daily updates whenever we upload new content. Otherwise, come with us. One of the biggest names in the current sporting scene is LeBron James, the other half of Savannah James. LeBron James is simply irresistible. His achievements in the NBA speak for himself. James is famously referred to as King James simply because of his role in basketball. He is one of the guys who has changed how, when, and where basketball is played. In fact, most people today, especially high school kids, watch basketball because of Stephen Curry or LeBron James. King James has had an illustrious career spanning 18 years spread across different franchises that seem to be coming to an end anytime soon. He started his career at the Cleveland Cavaliers, where he stayed for a record 7 years. James went into the history books when he became the first basketball player to win 3 finals MVPs with 3 different teams. LeBron has achieved almost everything there is to achieve in basketball, but one thing we can't ignore is age factor. James is going out of breath, and he might decide to end his career anytime soon. However, James, who is one of the latest entrants in the Forbes billionaires list, didn't give himself the name King for no good reason. He knew very well that after he gives the game his rearview mirror, he will need someone to be in charge of his kingdom. He has therefore taken it his sole responsibility to mold his 2 sons, Bronny and Bryce James. Both his kids are extremely athletic, and they certainly have got that trait from their father. Considering his schedule, it is really difficult for him to manage time. But he is an exceptional father who also prioritizes his family. There is no doubt that Bronny and Bryce have a lot of pressure since their father is James, but the 37-year-old is extremely supportive of both his kids. Just like any father, he tries to be there for the games. James' eldest son Bronny is among the most talked about young hoopers in the sporting scene right now. But James' second son, Bryce James, is also making a lot of headlines lately. He is only 15 years old, but is already showing signs of power and unmatched athleticism. Also, Bronny James may be the closest of LeBron's sons, who could potentially make their way into the NBA. However, Bryce is slowly becoming the one to watch for in the James family. Bryce James is only 15, and he already has the ability to dunk the ball. The young gun has already dropped some emphatic dunks that have gone viral on the internet, and fans just love it. James constantly shares a few of Bryce's dunk attempts and in-game clips on his social media. This has helped Bryce attract attention at a young age. Whether it works out for him or not will be a question that can only be answered in the future. But what James's second son has showcased so far indicates that he could potentially have 2 of his sons in the league. Over the summer, Bronny and Bryce have been competing in the annual AAU tournament for Strive for Greatness. Bryce, who's playing in the U16 AAU bracket, caught people's attention with his growth spurt this summer. The 6'6" small forward has passed Bronny's height, 6'3", and is now close to LeBron's stature. Bryce's height is outstanding for his age. With a lot of time left to grow, it will be interesting to see if he can surpass LeBron James's 6'9" frame. Aside from physical growth, Bryce's skills have also immensely developed over the past year. One of Bryce's most impressive AAU games is when he led his Strive for Greatness squad to a clutch victory. With 1 second left on the clock and his team down 2 points, the incoming sophomore attacked the basket and drew a foul on a 3-point attempt. You want to know what is even more interesting? The second-born easily knocked all 3 free throws down to secure the win against Showtime Elite. Bryce's performance in this game depicted his improvements this summer with his skill set, strength, and conditioning. He showed flashes of his ability to get to the basket at will and score efficiently from the field. Bryce's rebounding and shooting skills, as well as his overall confidence, were apparent. Also, in the past week, Bronny and Bryce were playing in London as there was a big club tournament going on.
And the first appearance in the game draws one of the loudest ovations of the night as Bryce James checks in for CBC.
Teammates at Sierra Canyon this upcoming season, but this is the first time that I know of that Bryce James and Bronny James are on the court in a competitive situation.
The two young stars were playing for the California Basketball Club, whose roster also features the sons of former NBA stars Penny Hardaway and Scottie Pippen. The club was in Europe to compete against teams from other parts of the world like London, Paris, and Rome. They played their first game on the 11th of August. Bronny and Bryce played together for the first time, and their father could not hide his happiness watching his two sons do their thing on the court. The young stars put up some very nice highlights, and as you can imagine, LeBron was incredibly proud of his kids. LeBron went to Twitter and said how emotional he became watching the two stars on the court together for the very first time. James wrote, "Man, I'm literally watching Bronny and Bryce on the court together for the first time in a game situation. This is insane. I'm emotional AF. Wow." Facing off against the UK's Hoop Fix elite, Bronny James started the game, but his younger brother came off the bench. Bryce managed 4 points and a rebound during his time on the court. This was another confirmation that the young James is set to be a star in no time. Now, since both Bronny and Bryce are LeBron's sons, it's unavoidable for basketball-related people to compare them with each other. After a few weeks of the AAU tournament this year, people have noticed a massive difference between Bryce's game and Bronny's. Benyam Kadane of the Sporting News and one of the best sports analysts had this to say: "While Bronny is more of a playmaking guard, Bryce's size allows him to attack the basket at will, swallow rebounds, and get out in transition. The striking feature of his game is his ability and confidence shooting the ball, an area you can tell he is focused on. In 2018, LeBron declared the then 11-year-old was already the best shooter in the household," Kadane said. Bryce is developing a solid game, but still doesn't have the same athletic gifts as his elder brother or father. He doesn't have the explosive jump, but he has a steady shot, good court awareness, and could seemingly grow to be a very tall player. His high school season is going to get a lot more eyes this year, Kadane added. Ultimately, only time will tell how great Bryce turns out to be, and whether or not he will eventually be the one to take the throne from LeBron moving forward. The incoming sophomore has a huge year ahead of him at Sierra Canyon High School. At the moment, though, LeBron should be pleased with the growth of his youngest son over the past couple of months.